that are being carried to future dates. I will read them one at a time. I will leave them up on, well, can I leave them up on the board if we're going into? It's up on the township agenda website if anybody needs to see them from the public. First is Psi Data Mandir Incorporated, ZBA 19-00037. It is a preliminary and final major site plan with C and D variances in which the applicant wants to construct a 28,970 square foot place of worship at 583 South Middlebush Road in Somerset, block 36.01, lot 6.03 in Zone A. This matter is being carried to May 20th, 2021 with no further notification needed. For those of you wishing to participate in this hearing via virtual WebEx meeting, the event address for attendees will be posted on the township's website at https://www.franklintwp.org/home/components/calendar/event. Could all of you mute yourselves, please? /17598/2193. For those of you wishing to listen via telephone, the call-in number is 1-408-418-9388, and the access code for this hearing is 173-750-2725. The next matter that is being carried this evening is Demetrius General Contracting Incorporated, ZBA 20-00025. This is C variances in which the applicant is seeking to single-family home at 40 Sedam Road in Somerset, block 36.01, lot 13.02 in Zone A. Carried to March 18th, 2021. This one will require notification. For those of you wishing to participate in this hearing via virtual WebEx meeting, the event address for attendees will be posted on the township's website at https://www.franklintwp.nj.org/home/components/calendar/event/17602/2193. For those wishing to listen via telephone, the call-in number is 1-408-418-9388, and the access code is 173-674-2732. The last item that is going to be carried also to March 18th is Dada Bhagwan Vignan Institute, ZBA 19-00040. This is a D3 conditional use variance, C variance, and site plan in which the applicant is asking to construct a 21,083 square foot place of worship with parking lot and a 5-foot monument sign at 630 South Middlebush Road, Somerset, block 37.02, lot 46.03 in the zone agricultural. Although I read that the first time, I'm going to reread it for people wishing to hear Dada Bhagwan. This matter has been carried to March 18th as well, and notification is required. For those of you wishing to participate in the hearing virtual WebEx meeting, the event address for attendees will be posted on the township website at https://www.franklintwp.nj.org/home/calendar/event/17602/2193. For For those of you wishing to listen via telephone, the call-in number is 1-408-418-9388, and the access code is 173-674-2732. As mentioned previously, this agenda is currently up and will remain up on the Franklin Township website under zoning board, and anyone wishing to see it can get this information if you were not able to write it down while I was speaking. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now you can take a rest for a minute. The whole hearing we will have is DNT Holdings Group LLC ZBA 21000101. C variances in which the applicant wants to construct additions to the front and rear of existing residence at 59 Dahmer Road, Somerset, Block 84.01, Lot 40 in the R40 zone. Okay, let's see if we can get everybody together online and begin.
All right, I will bring over the applicant's representatives. Okay, Mr. Pickus?
Yes, that's correct, sir.
All right, so I have yourself and Mr. Tavares.
I also need Mark Lieber.
Okay, anybody else?
That's it.
Okay, all right, so it's your application.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen on the board and staff for the township, it's very nice to be with you this evening, and I thank you for your time. My name is Evan Pickus. I'm an attorney from East Brunswick, the law firm of Pickus and Landsberg, and I have the honor tonight of representing DNT Holdings on their application for 59 Dahmer Road. That's block 84.01, lot 40, and that house is located in the R40 zone. The reason for our application tonight is that the applicant wishes to make some structural modifications to the house, just to slightly enlarge it, modernize the structure, and use the property to its greatest potential. Two issues there. The first issue is that there are already several existing nonconformities that would require variances before construction can begin on the property. And then we have two small variances that we're asking for that arise as a result of the construction that we want to do. I do have with me tonight Mark Lieber. Mr. Lieber is a certified planner and a certified engineer. And Mr. Chairman, if you'd swear in Mr. Lieber, I'd like to talk to him about his credentials.
Mr. Pickus, is he going to be testifying as both a planner and an engineer?
That is correct, sir.
I ask that you commence with one expertise and then allow the board to answer some questions and then move into the next expertise just to keep the record clean.
Happy to do so, sir.
Thank you, sir. Is the person available? Is he, Mr. Lieber? Can you hear me? Thank you, sir.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thank you for raising your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Name and address for the record, please.
Yes, it's Mark with a C. My last name is Lieber, L-E-B like Brian, E-R. And I am with East Point Engineering. Our office address is 11 South Main Street in Marlborough.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Lieber, could you give the board a bit about your credentials, please? Your background and education.
Yes, good evening. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in Civil Engineering from Drexel University. Following graduation, I went on to Rutgers Graduate School of Management, where I obtained an MBA. I am licensed as a professional engineer in New Jersey since 2004, and I am licensed as a planner in New Jersey since 2005. And I also hold a municipal engineering certification. I've testified before numerous boards. I've been before the planning board in Franklin within the last few years.
Okay, we'll accept those credentials. You can move on.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lieber, I have in front of me some plans that you've submitted to the board. In order to expedite matters, what I just ask you to do is explain what you've drawn here and why you drew what you drew, and only from an engineering perspective, what type of changes are going to be made to this property.
Yes, so we did submit a plan. It was dated November 11th of 2020. Some just background information. It's block 84.01 and it's lot 40. The address is 59 Dahmer Road. The lot has 100 feet of frontage and it's 200 feet in depth, which means the total lot area is 20,000 square feet. The zone on this lot is the R40 residential zone, which actually requires a minimum of 40,000 square foot lot area and 200 feet of frontage. So our lot area and our lot frontage are non-conforming. As far as what's proposed, there is an existing single-family dwelling on the property, and the applicant would like to make a 275 square foot addition at the rear of the house, a 109 square foot addition at the front near the garage. They propose a new 45 square foot covered porch in the front, and finally a deck in the rear of the property. Now, there are a couple of variances associated with the application. I'm just going to list them. In this R40 zone, there's a 40-foot front yard setback requirement, and the proposed covered porch is 30.68 feet from the front lot line, so it's a variance. In the area of our proposed addition at the front of the dwelling, the setback is 34.7 feet. But I would like to note that the existing setback is also 34.7 feet. So we're really squaring off the front of the house there. For side yards in this zone, you're required to have a 25-foot minimum setback. In the rear of the house, the setback that is presently on the property is 13.5 feet. And the addition, which does not project closer to the lot line than the house is presently, will also maintain a 13.5 foot setback. The total side yard requirement in the zone is 75 feet. And when you add our left side yard and our right side yard, you get 27.5 feet. So although that represents no change from the existing condition today, it is a variance because we are expanding the house further into the property. The last item is building coverage. In this zone, you're permitted 10% maximum, and what's proposed in the plan shows 11.9%.
Mr. Lieber, do you have any idea what the current lot coverage is?
Just a second here.
Mr. Pickus, while he's looking for that, is somebody going to be presenting the plans?
Oh, can I share my screen?
I can certainly allow that. I think it would help the board to see the plans.
Certainly.
All right, let me find you here. Okay, you can share your screen.
Alrighty, let me see here. All right, does that come through?
I see it.
Yes.
Okay, so again, this is the plan from November. I'm just going to highlight these shaded areas represent the additions. So you have the one in the rear, which goes along the back of the house. That's 275 square feet. This one in the front, where I mentioned they were just squaring it off, is 109 square feet. This is the existing garage to remain. And then there's a covered front porch, which is 5 feet by 9 feet. And then the deck is in the rear. So what you see here is the side yard setback is 13.5 in this rear portion. We're just extending that wall straight back. Nothing's changing on the right side of the house. In the front, the existing setback to the front wall is 34.7, and we're just carrying that straight across to square it off by the garage. So our only new projection is the cover to the front porch. It's an open front porch that has a cover on it. Any questions with regard to that?
Anything from the board?
Yes, I have a couple of questions. The deck isn't highlighted as an addition. Is that something you're adding?
Yes, the deck is proposed.
Okay, but it doesn't show that you are extending or shrinking the backyard or the back requirement of 50 feet, but it looks like you are. Can you explain that?
You have to repeat that because the audio cut out.
Okay. I'm curious as to how you can be adding that deck and not affecting the back yard distance requirement.
Well, the rear yard requirement to the house in this zone
Yes.
is 50 feet, but the lot's 200 feet deep. Right now, the setback's 132 feet. So we normally don't do setbacks to decks, but even if you do it to the deck, we're well above what's required.
Oh, okay. All right. And did somebody come and get a side lot variance earlier to allow for this shortened distance between the side lot and the building?
No, the house was constructed around 1955, and I believe the zoning changed in maybe July of 1984, which rendered the lot non-conforming.
Okay, that's all the questions I have.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, let me add a quick clarification. If the house was built in 1955, then it would have actually preceded our zoning altogether, which didn't come in until 1958. Looks like the lot to the right, lot 39, is a similar, might actually be slightly more narrow, even narrower.
$38.
No, 39.
Okay, well, 39, according to the tax map, is also 100 by 200.
Yeah, it looks like all the lots on that side of the block are all 100 by 200.
Right,
tax
I'm actually gonna talk about that in the planning portion.
Right. Sorry to steal your thunder.
Okay, any other questions? I guess then you want to switch them to planning?
That's correct, sir. Mr. Lieber?
All right, so I'm gonna just zoom in here on the zoning map. All right, so, when it comes to planning, we always look at the zoning ordinance. We look at the code book as to, what's proposed in the zone and is it a permitted use? In this case, a house is certainly permitted in the zone. But because we're asking for variances, we have to weigh and balance whether these granting of these variances poses any detriment either to the general public or to the zone plan itself. And frankly, these deviations from the zoning code, which I feel pose no detriment, are allowed to be granted under the powers of the Zoning Board of Adjustment because the municipal land use law allows for departure from the code under what we call the C2 flexible variance. And that would be when the project as proposed would further the goals and purposes of zoning. And in addition, the positives would outweigh the detriments. So in this case, if you look in your ordinance, the goals and purposes of planning provide for an appropriate use of the property, as well as to provide the adequate air, light, and open space necessary for this type of development. Now, as you could see in that plan, I don't think there's any debate as to how these additions clearly have no impact on the public. There's no encroachment on neighboring properties. We're not impacting anyone's air, light, and open space. For example, the front porch projection is an open front porch. The front addition that's proposed does not exceed the existing front setback. The rear addition proposed does not protrude beyond the existing side yard wall of the house. And frankly, to someone passing by, the addition in the rear is completely imperceptible. So the reality is that these improvements are mostly aesthetic in nature, but are really being done to modernize the house and improve the floor plan to meet today's standards. So there really are no apparent negatives with regard to the application, but I do want to mention one thing. If you look at the zoning map, you'll notice that our property and the two lots immediately to the right of us are colored in white, but we're surrounded by a development that's hatched in a green. What that really means is that that development behind us was designed and built under something called the R40 cluster option. In that cluster option, they're permitted to have lots that are 20,000 square feet, which is exactly the same size as our lot. And as a 20,000 square foot lot, you're permitted to have 100-foot of frontage, which again is what we have in this project. Now, I bring this up because when you look at the request that we're making for the building coverage variance of 11.9%, I think it has to be noted that if we were in a 20,000 square foot lot that's literally directly behind our property, we would be permitted 15% building coverage, and we would not need a building coverage variance. And the only reason I feel that's important to mention is because it shows that what we're doing is compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. So we're actually directly adjacent to, on our side and rear, to 20,000 square foot lots, and it's just an unusual anomaly that that entire development was designed to a standard that we frankly would have fit better in had we not been zoned R40 traditional zone. So, you know, considering what I mentioned about the setback variances and that there's really no change from a perception point of view from what's already on this lot, and the fact that the building coverage is compatible with what's already in the neighborhood, I feel there's absolutely no detriments whatsoever to what's proposed here tonight.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Lieber from a planning perspective?
Any questions from the board? Any more witnesses?
No more witnesses, sir.
We'll move to open to the public then, Mark.
I'm going to turn off the screen share.
So I'll just remind the public again that if they wish to participate, if they're calling in, they can press *3, or if they're participating by WebEx, they can do the raised hand function. While we wait to see if the public, if there's any public, Mr. Lieber, did you believe that, are there any?
Mark, you have to lower your microphone.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. So again, to remind the public, *3 if you're calling in, or do the raise hand function if you're participating via WebEx. So Mr. Lieber, you're principally relying on the C2 flexible C, but I think prior in your testimony, you were bringing up a number of issues related to a C1 variance as well, related to hardship, the size of the lot and the width of the lot relative to the R40. So would you agree that there also is some hardship situations uniquely affecting this lot that are resulting in these variances?
Yes, well, the classic hardship would be due to the size or shape of the lot. And frankly, I always lean towards a level of conservativity by putting forth the C2 variance testimony in a case like this, rather than strictly saying we have a hardship. But I agree with your statement that the lot area and the lot frontage are hardships, which make it difficult to do anything as far as an addition to this house without requiring a variance.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, I think we've given the public ample opportunity to indicate their desire to comment, and I do not see anybody raising their hand.
Okay, we'll close to the public, and then if anyone has any further questions or any comments from the applicant's attorney.
We submit to the board, Your Honor.
Okay, anything from the board? And we'll look for a motion. Okay, I'll move approval of this application. I think they've established all the proofs necessary for the variances involved. And we need a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, poll the board.
Carol Bethia,
Yes.
Bruce McCracken,
Yes.
Joel Reese. Joel Reese. You're muted, Joel.
Yes.
Thank you. Alan Rich,
Yes.
Gary Rosenthal,
Yes.
Robert Shepherd,
Yes.
and Chairman Thomas.
Yes. Okay, it doesn't look like there's any further business for tonight. Everybody needs to stay safe and rest up. It looks like the next meeting in 2 weeks will be a rather busy one, a little longer than this one. And if there's nothing further, we'll adjourn. Okay, meeting adjourned.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, all.
Good night.